Ever been drugged, robbed, or felt totally confused by the Spanish that you thought you knew? Colombia's beauty masks some nasty problems, and here's what they won't tell you. Colombia's insanely beautiful, mountains, beaches, coffee farms, vibrant cities, but behind the stunning Instagram shots is a darker side. Today, I'm giving you a brutally honest rundown on the things that really suck about traveling to Colombia. This video isn't to scare you, it's to keep you safe and informed. Let's dive into the not-so-pretty truths. Fake police scams and corrupt encounters. Imagine strolling through Bogotá's historic center or Cartagena's walled city when suddenly two uniformed guys claiming to be police ask you for your passport. Seems legit, right? Wrong. The police scams are surprisingly common here. They flash fake badges, demand to see your wallet, passport, or phone, and the next thing you know, your cash is gone. Real Colombian police rarely stop tourists to ask for IDs, especially not to check your wallet or purse. Problem is, even the real police rarely side with foreigners if a conflict arises with the locals. It's not always outright corruption, more like an ingrained bias or poor training practices. So if you're ever approached, calmly suggest heading toward a crowded place or a police station to verify their identity. Real cops will not object. Scopolamine epidemic, the nightmare drug. Now, if you thought fake police were bad, wait till you hear about scopolamine, locally known as the devil's breath. This drug is frighteningly common in Colombia, particularly in nightlife-heavy areas like Medellin's Parque Lleras, Bogotá's Zona Rosa, and Cartagena's Old City. How does it happen? Well, a seemingly friendly stranger might offer you a cigarette or spike your drink. Even taxi drivers have been known to offer contaminated candies or smokes. Within minutes, you're out of it, conscious but unable to say no to anything. Victims wake up hours later to find their bank accounts empty, valuables stolen, and often they're left stranded with no memory of what happened. Dating apps are a huge risk here. Criminals pose as friendly locals on Tinder or Bumble, inviting unsuspecting travelers for drinks. You feel safe because, well, it's a public place, right? Yet one drugged beer and you're handing over your passwords willingly. Terrifyingly enough, even seasoned travelers get caught. It's not about street smarts. This drug is colorless, odorless, and impossible to detect. And under no circumstance will a good Colombian girl ever follow you directly to your home. A good Colombian girl wants to get to know you. A good Colombian girl wants to go out on a date. If her first suggestion is to go back to your Airbnb, listen to the red flags at this moment. Aggressive street crime and safety concerns. Street crime in Colombia isn't just pickpockets, casually lifting your phone. It can be aggressive, even violent. Cities like Cali, Bogotá, and Medellin all have areas where muggings involving knives or guns are shockingly common. Criminals don't just snatch purses, they aggressively demand them, sometimes assaulting victims who resist. Nighttime especially amps up the danger. Even in popular tourist zones, dark side streets can turn sketchy quickly. Locals advise travelers to stick strictly to main streets after dark, and use official taxis or known ride apps like Uber or Didi. Even then, keep your guard up. The criminals in Colombia will not hesitate to harm you for monetary gain. If you're walking down the street and you start to hear whistling, this can sometimes be a person trying to notify that there's a tourist alone in the street. These are red flags to watch out for. Do not be targeted, do not stay in one place too long when you're solo, especially after dark. Kidnapping. Less common but still scary. You've probably heard horror stories about kidnappings in Colombia. Thankfully, these have drastically decreased over the past decades, but still, in rural areas or isolated roads, especially near Venezuela's border, parts of Cauca, or even remote regions near Santa Marta, kidnappings for ransom occasionally happen. Most travelers won't face this danger, but adventure seekers going off-grid should be particularly cautious. The Gringo Go Home movement. Colombia's popularity has exploded recently. Good news for tourism, but not so great for locals priced out of their neighborhoods by foreigners. In Medellin, the tension has birthed the Gringo Go Home movement. Not everyone feels this way, but in places like El Poblado, some locals resent tourists driving up rental prices and taking over their neighborhoods. As a tourist, you might encounter cold shoulders, rude remarks, or worse, a general feeling you're not welcome. Be respectful, avoid flaunting wealth, and genuinely connect with locals rather than treating cities as your personal playground. The locals of Colombia have a phrase termed dar papaya. Literally means to give a papaya. This means don't show your wealth, don't carry gold chains, don't wear gold watches, anything like this. Nice clothing, nice shoes, anything that shows that you are a target that has money or potentially wealth. They can be wrong and still target you. Language chaos, when Spanish isn't Spanish. Here's one you probably didn't expect. Just when you think your high school Spanish classes paid off, Colombia surprises you. Each city has its own slang and accent, making Spanish feel like a completely different language wherever you go within the country. In Medellin, they'll call you parcero. In Bogota, it's rola. And in Cali, you'll hear the distinctive voz. Words and phrases vary wildly. Something innocent in Bogota might be hilariously inappropriate in Cali. It's both funny and frustrating. Locals get it, just laugh it off, ask questions, and stay curious. Not to mention the costeñas, those all around the coastline or in the islands, speak Spanish at a far faster rate than those paisas in the Medellin area. Pollution, traffic, and altitude sickness. Bogota isn't known for being just the capital. It's famous for traffic that would test anyone's patience. Roads are jam-packed, buses belch thick diesel fumes, and commuting even short distances feels like an eternity. Air quality is equally bad. If you have asthma or allergies, you might struggle in Bogota. And speaking of Bogota, this city sits over 8,600 feet, 2,640 meters, above sea level. Even seasoned hikers feel dizzy, nauseous, or exhausted. The first few days can be tough. Drink lots of water, take it easy, and prepare for pounding headaches. The traffic is not just in Bogota either. Any of the big cities deal with this issue, including Medellin as of late. Taxi drivers will become visibly frustrated at the motorbikes riding down the streets, overpriced tourist traps, and aggressive vendors. Cartagena is gorgeous, historic, and packed with vendors aggressively selling hats, sunglasses, tours, bracelets, anything and everything. Saying no often isn't enough. Some vendors literally follow you for blocks, persistently pushing their wares. It ruins the charm pretty fast. And overpriced services? Oh, you'll see plenty. Taxi drivers love inflating prices, especially when you look foreign. Restaurants in tourist-heavy zones charge triple the local price. Always negotiate prices up front, learn the phrase, ¿cuánto vale? How much does it cost? And research typical costs beforehand. Pink cocaine, tusi, and other drug dangers. Colombia's reputation for cocaine is well known. But recently a new drug, tusi, also known as pink cocaine, has become popular in clubs. It's not really cocaine, it's often a dangerous chemical cocktail including ketamine, MDMA, or worse. Partygoers might think it's harmless fun, but people end up hospitalized or worse. Seriously, don't experiment with drugs here. The quality, purity, and contents are never guaranteed. Even if it seems common or harmless, it's dangerous territory, both legally and physically. So should you still go? Look, I get it. It may sound intimidating, but let's be clear. Colombia is amazing, vibrant, and incredibly welcoming overall. Most travelers have an epic time. The trick is knowing the pitfalls ahead of time. Stay alert, skip the shady parties, keep your valuables secure, and be careful who you trust. Every beautiful encounter has ugly sides, and facing these truths head on will save your wallet, maybe even your life. To keep it real simple, don't flash expensive items or cash, no dark papaya. Only use rideshare apps or trusted taxis, not just any yellow taxi. These would not be considered trusted taxis. Watch your drink, cigarettes, and who you're dating. Trust your gut. If it feels weird, it probably is. If you follow these rules, you're far more likely to love your time in Colombia without any nasty surprises. Before you book that ticket, Colombia isn't alone. Every destination has its hidden dangers. If you like this video and want to travel smarter, safer, and more prepared, make sure to check out my other videos about traveling to any country, because knowing what really sucks before you get there makes all the difference. Stay smart, stay safe, and I'll catch you in the next video. Click the one popping up right here. Like and subscribe. If you have a country in mind, find my video on it or request it, and we'll find all of the reasons it sucks to travel to that country so you are fully aware.